Ahlan wa sahlan, welcome. Good morning, and thank you all very, very much for coming. My name is Bryan Dawe, and I'm chairing today's proceedings at the AFP Media Symposium, titled In the Eye of the Storm, Palestinian and the New Media. Before I start, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we're on this morning, the people of the Kulin Nation. Before we begin, if I could, I'd like to ask everyone with a mobile to switch it to on, to the off position. Put it on to the off position, because I have some severe penalties for mobile abuse while people are speaking. First is I show you a yellow card, then you get a red card, and then it's 2 nights in Adelaide. Dining with Christopher Pine, so it's not worth it. Get that off switch happening. I think brevity is the key to all good writing. It's also the key to opening symposiums, so I intend to keep this very brief. The great French artist Degas once observed about artists that art is not what you see, but what you make others see. This should apply to journalism. Most often these days, sadly, it doesn't. And sadly, again, in this country and many others, when it comes to reporting on the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, much of the alleged journalism on the subject is directed by what those in power or whose self-interest it serves wish to dictate. In Australia in particular, this culminates in media reporting on the conflict that is more often than not compromised and lacking any form of rigorous analysis. In fact, it's my belief that AFL football player injuries are covered with more vigour and rigour. I've come to the conclusion that when it comes to reporting Palestinian-Israeli conflict, with notable exceptions, and a few of them are here today, in Australian newspapers there's only 2 things you can believe: the price and the date. And if that's the Australian, I'd be checking that on a half-hourly basis. As for the ABC, who I've been known to work for, our national broadcaster, they adopt, as Ilan Pape described the more liberal world media, their approach is the paradigm of balance and parity, which continues to provide Israel with immunity. For our overseas guests in Australia, we call that sitting on the fence, or having 2 bob each way. Anyway, I might stop there before I tell you what I really think. Today we gathered to discuss all these issues of the media and more with some very, very distinguished commentators. Now, before I introduce our very special guest from the United States, Ali Abunimah, to deliver his address, I'd like to advise, for those who don't know, that our second speaker from the US, Dr. Ramzy Baroud, is unable to be with us due to contracting pneumonia and has been unable to travel. However, he has kindly managed to get himself out of hospital and deliver a video address to us. So we do, I'll play that after Ali has spoken. He is ever an important person in this discussion, and it's good that we've at least got him on video, and we wish him a very swift recovery. To our special guest, Ali. Ali's a US-based journalist and the co-founder and executive director of the widely acclaimed publication, The Electronic Intifada, a non-profit independent online publication focusing on Palestine. He is a graduate of Princeton and the University of Chicago. He is a frequent speaker on the Middle East, contributing regularly to numerous publications. As well, he is the author of One Country, a bold proposal to end the Israeli-Palestinian impasse and the battle for justice in Palestine. The poet and Pulitzer Prize winner Alice Walker described Ali as this: fierce, wise, a warrior for justice and peace, someone whose large heart one senses beyond his calm is constantly on fire. He's been an active member of the movement for justice in Palestine for 20 years. Will you please welcome Ali Abunimah?